The First Row Sports Show. Check us out on Twitter and Facebook.
Once again to the sideline. Batted up. Oh, God! Stokely down the sideline. Can they catch him?
With your hosts Darnell Duff and Brady Lang.
Alrighty, good evening. Welcome to the First Row Sports Show, coming to you on YouTube, SoundCloud, wherever you listen now. No hockey tonight, which is kind of heartbreaking, but now I'm going to bring in Brady Lang in.
I'm already bored.
You're already bored.
Give me some puck.
So let's talk some sports then. Let's talk the Toronto Maple Leafs. Let's talk the Boston Bruins.
We're going all out. We're getting revved up right now. It's the Leafs.
2 straight wins for the Leafs. I think it's safe to say the first win was because of Frederik Andersen. Honestly, I think all the wins were really because of Frederik Andersen in this series. He has been an absolute stud. Without Frederik Andersen, if you flip the goaltenders, you put Tuukka Rask in there, Toronto loses. Rask has been terrible. He's made a couple of good saves.
Are you really giving me the Tuukka Rask could be a Leaf right now thing? No.
Just relax. What I'm giving you is a comparison. If Tuukka Rask was between the pipes for Toronto, they're done. Frederik Andersen has been so good.
Tuukka has too. The 3 games he didn't play well, they lost. And that's exactly what happened.
You can't afford that.
And Andersen has just been playing unreal.
And
like 48 saves. Or no, it was... It would have been 42 saves the other night. On Saturday. Well, of course, you need a goaltender to put you through to the playoffs.
Tuukka didn't even play that good in their wins. They just completely dominated Toronto. Even in their losses, 2 of Boston's losses in this series, they have highly dominated the Toronto Maple Leafs. Last night, you could argue that it was a probably the most even win or even game.
That was the best game of the series.
It was, 100%. And I think Game 7 is going to be even better in front of an absolutely raucous crowd at TD Gardens in Boston. But... Tuukka Rask hasn't been that good.
Goaltending puts you through in the playoffs. Do you remember the man, the myth, the legend, Jean-Sébastien Giguère stealing it in, what was it, 02-03? Almost stealing it until he ran into Martin Brodeur. And it's goaltending in the playoffs. Everyone says in football it's defense that wins wins you championships, and that's kind of true in every sport. Because if you can't score, you can't win. It's a game in which you score the most goals, and most games are if you score the most goals, points, all that kind of stuff, whatever cricket has.
I think it's tries in cricket. We've went through this. We both don't really know a whole lot about cricket. We should probably study some cricket just to, But let me put some numbers through you, okay? Let's go back to Game 5.
I don't know these numbers. I don't do any homework before any of this. All I do is I'm a not-so-casual fan. All I do is just...
What you do is crumple up the paper and you throw it to the side.
I show you what I have in my mind, and that's what you get. And my mind is not the greatest some days.
Trust me, we hear it all. So let's go back to Game 5, Boston's first chance to close it out. They outshot Toronto 45-21, and in shot attempts, it was 90-39. That is 51 more shot attempts than the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now... let's go to Game 6. 33-30, Boston outshot Toronto. Shot attempts, 72-43. That says something that Toronto is doing a goddamn great job of getting in front of the pucks. They're doing a fantastic job. Ron Hainsey, did you see that one that he almost took in the knockers a couple of games ago?
In the knockers, in the nards, in the loaf.
I'm telling you, Toronto's doing a good job.
In the bread biscuits.
Of getting in front of the pucks. But if you're the... Boston Bruins, you got to start putting the puck on the net, because 90 shot attempts and you only get 45 shots. That is half your shots that you're attempting to get to the net get there. Now, I understand shots are going to get blocked, but they got to find a way to get the pucks open into the lanes. They can't start shooting at bodies, that sort of thing. They got to get more in the net than even they already have, because obviously it's not working out for them.
Well, they got to start shooting at Freddie and not Polak, am I right? But no, seriously, you got to give all credit to Boston. They're outplaying, but that's the style of hockey they play. And everyone was complaining earlier on in the season when the Leafs kind of went on that 20 to 30 game stretch where it was just boring hockey. You didn't want to turn on the Leafs game. But you know what Babcock was doing? You know what Babs was doing? Babs was training the boys. They're a young team still. He was training them how to play in every single situation. And you know what we're doing right now? We're seeing that come through, and we're seeing that come true because it's 3-3, and anything can happen in Game 7. I don't care. It was 3-1. Game 7, baby.
Well, that's in the past. 3-1 doesn't matter. But I think this season...
A wise man named Rafiki once said, it doesn't matter. It's in the past.
Well, yeah, a lot of people say that. But I think Mike Babcock this whole season and this series specifically shows you how good of a coach this guy is. You look at Gulutzin with the Calgary Flames. He's got a young team, and I know you're looking at me. We got an announcement after regarding the Flames. We're not going to say that. But he's a guy who cannot coach young players. You look at Babcock and you look at his era in Detroit, how good they were, but they had a lot of players that were good. Yes, they brought up some young players, but they had Datsuk, they had Zetterberg, they had
average.
Lidstrom. Yeah, well,
he's average.
But my point is, he's come to Toronto, and this is a very young team, the Maple Leafs, especially their stars, Austin Matthews, Marner, so many guys, Nylander. Like, this is a young, very young team, and he's really taken them. I wouldn't call this the promised land because the Stanley Cup champions, the promised land, but he's taken them and made them into a relevant team, and a team now that has the opportunity to get past the Bruins, which really is a testament, I think, to how good of a coach this guy really is.
Well, we are witnessing, finally, the Shanna plan is coming into fruition. We are going into a new era of Leaf hockey. It's after the 100-year anniversary. And you know what's great? It's year, 102, 103? These next 100 years are going to be, well, amazing.
Well, we're not going to be around for probably year 70.
With the advances in modern technology and modern medicine, you got to admit, like...
Maybe we'll be around.
That Futurama whole head thing... Not far off. We all know Matt Groening in The Simpsons, like the creator, is a time teller. He's a time traveler. So you know what? Futurama, get on it. I'm pretty sure it's still on Netflix.
Now, for all our listeners on the First Row Sports Show, there is not a single sports show in the entire world that you're going to hear about thoughts on never dying and Futurama.
We're never going to die.
Let's go back to 2013.
Live fast, die. Oh, no, that wouldn't work.
No, let's just leave it at we're not going to die.
We're never going to die.
And let's go back to 2013, Boston and Toronto. That famous, I guess you would call it, collapse from the Maple Leafs. You're looking at me thinking, why are you even bringing this up? Well, it's a fact.
You know what? I'm going on it. Kate, see, this time it's personal. You know, Leafs fans everywhere.
How was it not personal then? How was it not personal at that point?
Leafs fans everywhere have had to deal with this bullshit every single year. And you log on to Twitter, you log on to anything, and you see a Bruins fan tweeting, it's getting personal because at the same time, you know, they're Bruins fans, and that's what Bruins fans do. I went out the other night, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to go watch the game. I'm going to do it alone because... You know what? Why not? Because I don't have TV at home. And you know what happened? Some guy almost punched me in the face because I was just sitting there. I didn't say anything. I didn't have anyone to talk to. And he just turned around and he's like, I'm a Bruins fan. Take that shirt off.
Well, what do you think?
Take that shirt off.
What do you think?
Why?
You think you're just going to go to a Leafs, watch a game and have a Leafs jersey and then you got a Bruins fan? You think you're just going to be buddy-buddy? No. It's the goddamn playoffs, man. If you can't take a little, friendly jabbering from some random or you can't take a little smack talk, go to your basement, sit downstairs with a beer, your Pilsner. I know you like Pilsner. Don't go out in public and watch. Because if you can't take that in person, you shouldn't be there.
It gets to a point, though. You know, it's friendly jabs back and forth. I can deal with that. Obviously, anyone can deal with that. But when some guy, gets in your face and tries going at you just due to the fact that you're wearing an Austin Matthews shirt, because he's going to be one of the best players in the world. Sidney Crosby's only got, 8-9 years left? So, honest to God, seriously, you can't go and sit and watch a hockey game anymore. You're like, oh, you're wearing a shirt, so you're probably going to get beat up because of it. No, That's not the sports world I like to live in, but I guess I'm just going to end up going to your place and watching it on the big screen.
See, people don't like each other when they're wearing their opponent's jerseys. Let's take a look at Game 7. And yes, again, I'm going to look at the stats. The home team that scores first, check this record, 126-43, a 746 winning percentage, and 169 all-time Game 7s in the Stanley Cup playoffs.
Well, what happened last night then?
Dude, last night wasn't Game 7.
No, but I'm talking what happened last night, if you're going to bring that up, because that's all I heard. That's all they were talking about on Hockey Night in Canada. And when they scored that first goal, I was like, shit. But it's the playoffs. Anything can happen.
Listen to my last 5 words of this sentence.
Okay, go.
Game 7s in the stand. Nowhere does this say Game 6. I said Game 7, and I'm putting off a stat right now. Who are you to judge with the stats that they're wrong? They're not. Statistically, if Boston scores first tomorrow, they're going to win. If the Leafs score first tomorrow, statistically, 76.9% of the time, they're going to win the hockey game, and I believe it.
Take your analytics and shove it. I don't want it. It's the playoffs.
Analytics are the biggest part of the game. You ask any professional athlete, analytics is absolutely massive. Let's go to baseball instead.
You bring up 2013. What were the Leafs' chances when they were up 4-1, hey? Probably 99.99999%. But they didn't win it because it's the playoffs.
Yes, analytics can be wrong. They can be
Analytics
wrong.
piss me off.
The Golden State Warriors were favorites to win the NBA championship last year. It was like 97%, and they won. So that's a case where the analytics are right. The analytics, more often than not, are right. And that's why they have them.
You have a 50% chance of doing anything in this world, okay? That's how I look at it. I'm a realist. I go out there, I'm like, oh, the Leafs could win tonight or they could lose. They're not going to tie.
Yeah, but that's obvious. Obviously you could go out and think that.
Yeah.
But that's, what does that even mean? Because that's just an obvious point.
We're news guys here, and people will come up to us and be like, oh, Brady, is it going to snow today? I don't know, 50% chance says it's going to snow.
So then it does. But obviously that's a point.
Yeah, that's the point. Analytics don't mean jack shit.
That's highly debatable. They do mean a lot.
Because you look at analytics. This is my big issue with analytics. It's either yes or no. Yes, okay, you have a 97% chance of winning. Great, they win. But you know what happens? The 3% happens sometimes. Anything can happen. It's the playoffs.
You want to, after the game last night, I can almost guarantee you that the Boston Bruins goaltender coach was sitting down with Tuukka Rask. They were looking at the analytics of where the Maple Leafs shoot. When are they going to go glove high? When are they going to go glove low? Blocker high? I can goddamn guarantee you the analytics came in to factor there. So how can you say they're not real, that people don't use them? The best players in the world do. Bryce Harper, he's huge in analytics. Where the pitcher's going to pitch. Every single pitcher, when they go to the mound, where do we have to pitch to beat out Bryce Harper? Where does he bat a little bit worse because Bryce Harper hits the ball wherever you pitch it? But the fact is, people use analytics. They are absolutely massive. If I was a professional athlete, wow. Let's not even go there. That was out the window 20 years ago. If I was, analytics
20
would be...
years ago, you're 23.
Hey, I had dreams as a young boy. When I had that first pop, I realized that it wasn't for me.
You're like, month 36, holy shit, I'm playing in the NBA. Month 37, damn.
I tell you, you fall off the bed once and you smack your head and you're like, this isn't for me. So let's try and wrap this all up. This segment, we got lots coming on the first
I'll just say
show.
one more thing.
Yeah,
one last thing.
Go ahead.
Where were analytics when Gordie Howe was playing hockey? Where were analytics when Babe Ruth was hitting the baseball? They weren't there. Sports still happened.
Where was technology?
The championships still count.
That is where were all of
Okay, then let's just discredit every Montreal Canadiens fan that comes in here and says, "Oh, we got 24 cups, 23 cups. Let's go. Modern day age. Let's go." Those cups don't matter then because analytics didn't exist.
It's two different games. The modern era and the back in the Stone Age.
So,
analytics are a huge part of the game. How do you not think that? Every professional athlete...
I hate analytics because it's just something else to talk about, something else to write about. You know what? Let's just write about the product on the ice. It's like, when you're coming in the third period in this small time frame, Freddie Anderson's not going to stop that. Yeah, I watched Moneyball. It was a good movie. Jonah Hill couldn't run a baseball team.
Whoa.
Jonah Hill couldn't run a baseball team.
Great movie. If you're a baseball fan, you're wearing a Dodgers pinstripe right now. It's not pinstripe.
It's not a pinstripe, don't you ever. But
great
yes,
movie.
this is a great jersey. I wish that we were on TV because look at the back of my jersey.
Yeah, it says Manny. You know he's playing in
$14 TJ Maxx, baby.
Oh, baby. Leafs, Bruins, Game 7 tomorrow. Who are you picking? Honestly, unbiased aside, who are you taking?
I believe in fate. I believe in the Toronto Maple Leafs exercising their demons, and they are going to exercise many a demon because they got the first round. They're playing Boston. We all know what happened in 2013, and if they're up 4-1, I don't give a shit. They're still going to win because they're going to exercise their demons because they don't have anyone left over from that last team. And you know what? I hope the Leafs win. I really hope they win because you know what? This is a different team. This is a different era. This is the Babcock era. Let's go. I am so psyched for tomorrow. Probably not going to sleep very much tonight. And I'm going to come to work and I'm going to obviously work and I'm just going to sit there and think, it's almost time.
Brady.
It's almost time. We're going to exercise the demons and the Leafs are going to win. Brady. And I hope they're up 4-1.
Brady. This is coming from a guy who watches a lot of Supernatural. You need to tame it down.
What does your analytics say? Tell me what your analytics
You're
says.
You're a guy who believes in
Boston.
fate, but not analytics. Who's going to win, the Leafs or the Bruins?
The Leafs.
That took you 5 minutes to say the Leafs.
I had a lot to say about this, and you knew I had a lot to say about this, and you just rattled the cage.
You said exercising 40 times. Nobody cares if they exercise him or not. If they beat him, they beat him. It's not because they exercise the demons. It's because they played a better hockey game on the road. It's not because fate. Nobody cares about 4 years ago. That doesn't matter. Who gives a crap?
That's the one thing about sports that I just love, is that anything can happen at any time. And literally, it's going to happen. Just you wait and see. Oh, what are you doing? Well,
you're taking, obviously, the Leafs. I'm taking the Bruins. I think they're a better team. I think Tuukka Rask is finally going to play a good hockey game tomorrow. I think he's going to be rock solid. I think Zdeno Chara leads the active NHL players in Game 7s with 12. That's a lot of Game 7s. They've all been there before. They're going to win this hockey game tomorrow in front of home ice. They're going to be in tough against Tampa Bay because they went 7. Tampa only went 5 games. I'm taking the Bruins 4-2. 4-2 tomorrow night at TD in Boston. It's going to be crazy.
You know what I hope? Hope the game ends 5-4 for the Leafs.
In overtime?
And going into the third period.
Are we going to see an overtime?
Going into the third period, the Boston Bruins are up 4-1.
Here we go.
And then they just go, oh, nasty Nas.
Let me guess.
Mitchell Marner.
Let me guess. The Leafs had 3 defenders on the ice.
Patrick Marleau.
Yeah.
And then in overtime, number 34, the Messiah, Austin Matthews, in overtime. I'll cry. I'll cry. I'll cry so hard.
The Boston Bruins 4-2 tomorrow night. Brady's taking the Toronto Maple Leafs 5-4 in overtime. Wouldn't that be some sort of result? Whatever it is, it's going to be a fantastic game. The Demons, yeah. It's going to be a fantastic game. Coming up, we're talking Washington and Pittsburgh. I swear they should just start at the semifinals, Washington and Pittsburgh. Our takes coming up. You're listening to the First Row Sports Show.